it's Nikki here, and welcome to a very hot July TBR video. I'm sorry if you can hear the fan on in the background, but there really is absolutely no way I am filming this TBR without my fan on, because otherwise you will just see a hot, sweltering mess, and let's face it, nobody wants that. Here in the UK we've got a little bit of a heat wave and it's like 18-19 degrees at night. We're not used to it here in the UK, okay? We have brick houses that keep the heat in, and we don't have air ventilations in our windows. We don't have air conditioning. Our houses are built to keep us warm, not to keep us cool. So, forgive me. Yes. So, let's get on with the video. So, today's video is going to be quite quick, actually, because I only have 5 books to show you for my July TBR. Yeah, that's right. I'm only showing 5 books for my July TBR because I've hit a burnout, people. I have been pushing myself to read like 16-18 books a month for 6 months now, and I'm kind of over reading books according to other people's prompts. I mean, I must admit, I've been enjoying taking part in readathons. I've been loving it, but I just want to mood read for a while. I just want to be able to pick up whatever book takes my fancy at the time that I'm reading. So I do have 5 books here that are going to be for my own readathon. Yes, I have created a readathon with my good friend Charlotte from Wacky World of Lottie. I will link her video channel for you down below, so you can check her out if you haven't already. I do know that lovely Karen from Teacher Incognito is also hoping to take part. I'm not sure if she's going to do videos on it or whether she's just going to do it on Instagram or whatever, but yes, you can take part in this as well if you so wish. The readathon we've created is called Check Your Shelf, and it runs for the whole of July. So there's only 5 prompts and you have to pick 1 book per prompt, and there's only one rule, which is it is 1 book per prompt per shelf. So once you have picked a book from your shelf, you cannot pick another book from that same shelf to fill any of the other prompts. So you've really got to think about which books you're picking. Let's get on with it. So the first one is to pick a book that has a good friendship, and for that one I've picking Veronica Roth's newest one, which is Chosen Ones. This is a story about what happens to heroes after they've saved the world. So yeah, so this book follows the 5 heroes, the Chosen Ones, I believe 10 years after they've saved the world, and one of the girls is still suffering with PTSD. And then one of the Chosen Ones suddenly dies and they have to deal with the consequences of that, I believe. So yes, so this came from one of my bottom shelves, which has my fantasy on. So yes, that is that one. The next one is to pick a highly anticipated book, and for that I have picked The Seventh Son, which is by Lainey Forbes, and I believe this has Mayan and Aztec influence. So yes, so we have a young girl called Mayana, who's the only daughter of the Shecombe family, whose blood controls the power of water, and there is a boy called Akin, who's a prince, and he has to find a new bride, and Mayana is one of the girls that could possibly be chosen by him, and obviously things happen. I wouldn't say I highly anticipated this for a very, very long time. I saw it, I think, on Amazon, and I read the synopsis and I was immediately intrigued, and I purchased it, and then it's been highly anticipated since I purchased it. So I'm kind of cheated with that one. And this came from another bottom shelf. I have two bottom shelves that have my hardbacks on, so it came from that one. The next prompt is to pick a book that has diverse characters, and for that one I picked Sword in the Stars by Amy Rose Capetta and Corey McCarthy. I believe the two authors are in a lesbian bisexual relationship, and so the authors have diversity, but then also the characters inside have diversity. I believe we have a non-gender character in here who goes by the pronouns they and them, and this is the second book in a duology, I believe, or is it a trilogy? Or is it a trilogy? I'm not 100% sure. But the first book was Once and Future, and this is a gender swapping Arthur's legend. So we have King Arthur, who's actually a girl called Ari, and we have Merlin, who is actually gay in here as well. And I really enjoyed the first one, and I'm well looking forward to the second one, especially as it's a really floppy paperback, which I could really, it's not doing much for me. So yeah, so I will be reading this one. This one came from one of my top fantasy shelves, so that was that one. Ew, now I've broken one of my own rules. Rules were made to be broken. Oh no! I just realised, people. I really want to read this though. Oh. Okay, so the next prompt was to read a book with a pretty cover, and I mean, you cannot get any prettier than this. And then it goes like that, and then it goes like that. Like, you cannot get any prettier than this. But this comes from the same shelf as the chosen ones came from. People, what can I do? Hang on a minute. I'm going to be reading this one. This is The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. It is a Les Miserables retelling. We have The Court of Miracles, which is this underground criminal empire that has been created because the revolution didn't happen, I believe. Yeah, the failed revolution, and so there's a girl called Eponine, which we know from Les Mis, has lost more than most. Her father sells her sister to the Guild of Flesh, and she makes a promise to do anything to get her sister back. But people, this breaks my own rules. See what I mean? But you really have to think about what books you're picking. So, do I read this and put the Seventh Son back? Or do I read the Seventh Son and put this one back? I don't know. Hang on a minute. Okay, I'm going to keep The Court of Miracles on my TBR because I really want to read that. So I have 6 books on my TBR. But the book that I'm picking for the beautiful cover, the pretty cover, is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, the Bath Treasury of Children's Classic. This is absolutely stunning. It is cloth bound, and it's like that, and it does have sprayed edges, and it is beautifully illustrated inside. So yeah, I'm going to read Alice's Adventures. See what I mean? The rules really make you think. So yeah, I'm going to be reading this one. This came from my classics shelf. So yes. And the 5th final prompt It's hot, people. My brain isn't working. The fifth and final prompt is to pick a book that is set at sea. Come on. You didn't think I was ever going to create a readathon where we weren't reading a book, hopefully, about mermaids. Now, you don't have to pick a book that includes mermaids, you just have to pick a book that is set at sea or with some large expanse of water. It could be a lake, it could be a river, it could be an ice rink. Because, let's face it, ice is just solid water. So, you can do what you like, but brownie points if you do pick a mermaid themed book. And I have picked one that is a little bit different. This is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. Mira Grant is also known as Shauna Maguire, I believe. And this one is kind of like mermaid horror story. So we have a group of people going out to the Mariana Trench to film a mockumentary bringing to life ancient sea creatures of legend, but the ship is lost at sea with all hands. Some have called it a tragedy, others call it a hoax. Now a new crew has been assembled to investigate, and they'll discover that whatever down there is definitely no joke. So I believe it is kind of like horror mermaids, and I'm really up for some horror mermaids. I have read some beautiful whimsical stories about mermaids recently, and I am definitely up for some horror mermaids. Maybe I should have left this for Halloween. No, I definitely want to read this. So I have more than enough books for Halloween. It's okay. So yeah, so that is my fifth and final prompt. So that is it. That is all the books that I'm reading for July TBR. I will probably end up reading more books. It's just these are the books that I am setting myself to definitely read in July. So these are the 5 books that I'm going to be reading for my Check Your Shelf Readathon that I have created. We have Veronica Roth's Chosen Ones, Lainey Forbes' The Seventh Son, Amy Rose Capetta and Corey McCarthy's Sword in the Stars. We have Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, and we have Mira Grant's Into the Drowning Deep. So those are the 5 books I will be reading for my readathon. And then, because I made a whoopsie, you know I will be picking up The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant as well. This is a Waterstones special edition, if you're interested. I believe they might still have some in stock. So, that is my July TBR. Short and sweet. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye! Completely out of breath now. Dying in this heat. Too hot.